Now recognize Ms. Tokuda from Hawaii for 5 minutes of question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I get started, I'd like to take a moment to clear some things up for the record. We've heard accusations that the department has intentionally devoted minimal resources towards handling congressional oversight inquiries, but let's also remind people that every day your primary responsibility is the health and wellness of 340 million Americans, keeping them alive and well. Assistant Secretary Egorin, would you like to clarify anything briefly regarding this claim?
I want to just acknowledge the mission of the department is to make sure we are taking care of the welfare of the American people, and that is a very broad set of activities.
Thank you, and mahalo also. You have done much of that for my community personally on the island of Maui and Lahaina. I've seen your men and women on the ground every day since the fires. You know, over the last year, select subcommittee Republicans have leveraged their majority to advance politically motivated probes that do nothing to improve the lives of everyday Americans, do nothing to ensure that we are better prepared for the next pandemic, and do nothing to protect our constituents from future public health threats. And under the guise of investigating COVID-19's origin, this select subcommittee has squandered valuable time and taxpayer dollars into probes simply for the purpose of scoring political points. And despite all of those time and resources they've wasted on their inquiry, the question for me is, what do they have to show for it? In fact, the only thing they've achieved is further politicalization of the greatest crisis of our time by pointing fingers at public health officials like yourselves and sowing distrust in our nation's intelligence community. Even before they took the majority last Congress, Republicans were already plotting their probe against Dr. Fauci. And tens of thousands of documents, more than a dozen transcribed interviews, 3 congressional hearings later, we have not seen or heard so much as a shred of evidence substantiating their claims of a cover-up of the pandemic's origins or suppression of the lab leak theory on the part of Dr. Fauci. Instead, we have witnessed the majority repeatedly rely on speculation and distortion of the facts to fit their narrative. For example, they've baselessly accused Dr. Fauci of playing semantics with the regulatory definition of gain-of-function research, despite all documents and testimony, including his 14-hour closed-door interview, plainly demonstrating otherwise. And they've alleged that Dr. Fauci visited the CIA's headquarters to skew its inquiry into COVID-19's origins on the basis of whistleblower testimony that they've refused to make available to the minority for months. Without a single shred of evidence substantiating this claim, the majority released these allegations publicly. And yet 3 weeks after Dr. Fauci told us that he hasn't been to the CIA's headquarters in decades, they have neither issued a correction. And now they're trying to accuse the Biden administration of stonewalling because their probe into Dr. Fauci isn't getting them anywhere. It's all just theater. As we have seen today, the majority's desperate fishing expedition to seek a scapegoat rather than the facts does not put us on a path forward to meet the supposed mission of this subcommittee. The fact is the majority's oversight and investigations have in no way enhanced our understandings of how COVID-19 came to be. So, Assistant Secretary, I'd like to discuss with you the ways in which this administration has constructively worked towards garnering a better understanding of the COVID origins pandemic. Can you please speak to the steps the Biden administration has taken on this front?
Congresswoman, as the President and many other officials have noted, understanding the origins of COVID and understanding the science and how to make sure we are looking forward to better response to future pandemics is essential. And that has included work by the intelligence community, but also, as this subcommittee has heard, conversations among our own scientists about understanding what lessons we've learned and how to move forward.
Thank you. And in their efforts to construct this extreme narrative, select subcommittee Republicans have actually undermined the intelligence community, individuals that will be critical, really, to taking on the next potential pandemic in its origins assessment. These hardworking men and women who serve our country, they have insinuated that them and the Biden administration have been withholding information due to a classified annex of the report. And let me just say that they've done so in spite of witnesses coming before our very committee, warning about the dangers of politicizing intelligence. Assistant Secretary, yes or no, is there any reason for the American people to doubt the validity of the intelligence community's origin assessment?
Congresswoman, I have not read the report myself, but we take this seriously, and there's no reason people should doubt the validity of the hard work of the Intelligence Committee.
Given the individuals in the Intelligence Committee, the process in which they go through, would there be any reason why they should down an assessment brought forward by them?
No, I would not see why.
Thank you. I bring this up today because the purposeful undermining of public trust in the IC puts our very national security at risk. It prevents all of us from getting the objective information. We need to make sound policy, and it's a gift to our adversaries, quite frankly, who want nothing less than our Republicans to continue tearing apart the national security institutions that keep our very country safe and free. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am out of time, and I yield back.